Hello, my name is David Morgan. I'm the city manager for the City of Georgetown. And water, safe, reliable drinking water is one of the most critical services that a city provides. Georgetown has a significant water territory with a very fast-growing area. And we've spent a lot of time, energy, and resources to managing that system and making sure we have safe, reliable service. Typically, cities have water territories and have water utilities that serve their city and kind of their growing area, their ETJ. Georgetown is really unique in that we have a 400-mile water territory when our city limits is 60 square miles. The reason that we have that is because we merged with the Rural Water District back in 2014. Originally, we wanted to have just merge and acquire a portion that was in our ETJ and would be in our city limits. But we're required to merge with the entire water system. And so what we find now is that 40% of our customers in our water utility are actually outside the city limits and outside the ETJ. And this is causing significant strain, and actually there's significant risk because we have little control over development outside of our city limits and especially outside of our ETJ. And that is creating a lot of risk and unpredictability as we're trying to plan long-term for our water system. So to better plan for our system and also to manage rising costs, we're exploring the sale of a portion of our water utility. And what this would do is actually greatly reduce the amount of additional water that we have to acquire by 2070. In fact, it'll reduce it by 58%. So the city will still need additional water. We still are working on acquiring additional water and additional water supply agreement. And we'll be doing that through the end of this calendar year to work on a water supply agreement. But that total amount of water will be significantly less than it otherwise would have. So we are currently working on initiating service transfers. We're meeting with cities right now to be able to see if cities within our water territory that have ETJ in our water territories, such as cities like Killeen, Salado, Florence, Gerald, and Liberty Hill, whether they want to take on a portion of their ETJs that are in our water system today. For all the other territory that is where a city does not want to take that water territory over, then we plan to sell that CCN. We will retain service of our city limits and our ETJ, as well as a portion of our water utility that's to kind of the west along 183. And the reason for that is because we have made critical infrastructure investments in that area, and it'd be very difficult to break apart our water system and sell portions of that area. In terms of the number of customers that would be included in the sale, we anticipate it'd be up to 11,500 customers that would be in the sale of the water utility, and that we retain over 62,000 customers that remain in the Georgetown water territory. We actually have an interactive map on our website, so for anyone watching this video that wants to know whether they're in the area that we're considering selling, you can simply enter your address and be able to find that pretty easily. I think there's some important things, though, to reinforce. First of all, no one will lose access to their water. We are going to make sure that as we consider the sale of portions of our water utility, that we find a responsible provider that can provide stability of service, really a plan for long-term rates, as well as the ability to build new infrastructure and to look at future water supplies. Our plan is not to sell to the highest bidder. We want to sell to the most responsible provider to make sure that long-term water supply and quality service can be provided for the area that we're considering selling. We are going to be working through a request for proposal process. We'll be doing that this fall, and we'll be evaluating those. The plan would be for us to review those and make a selection on a preferred provider by January, February of 2026. And then it would require, per law, for us to complete this sale, it would require for the citizens of Georgetown to have an election. So we are currently targeting May 2026 for that to occur. And then it would require approval by the Public Utility Commission. And so we would make an application to the Public Utility Commission and work through that process. At a minimum, this process would take all the way until the end of 2027. but it could take up to 2029. So this is a long-term plan, not a short-term plan. In the meantime, we're continuing to be dedicated to providing quality service, reliable water service for our entire water territory, and make sure that, again, the new provider that we'll be working on negotiating with and ultimately making decisions on will have the same type of service and be a quality provider as well. So what does this mean? So one of the questions, and folks that may be watching this video, one of your questions may be, what does this do for Georgetown residents, City of Georgetown residents, or people that are in the ETJ where we're not intending to sell that territory? First of all, we don't think that rates will increase as rapidly as we've seen recently, and we think we'll have more rate stability long term. Secondly, we'll be acquiring less water than we initially anticipated, and that's 58% less. We anticipated needing approximately additional 100,000 acre-feet of water by 2070, and now, based on this change, we anticipate needing around 40 or 41,000 acre-feet. But the reality is that the era of cheap water is over. All of this additional water is more expensive, even a lower amount, and being able to provide reliable service in the infrastructure is more expensive. And we have to just recognize that we're in a period of a lot more instability, and we have very limited ability to manage growth with changes in state law that have occurred over the last 10 years, and just the challenges of getting additional water supply. And I think what's really driving all of these decisions is just understanding our ability to manage our infrastructure, the rising costs of that, and making sure that we are managing the risk for our ratepayers that are in the City of Georgetown, as well as for our residents and our citizens of the City of Georgetown, which is the biggest driver for why we are planning to move in this direction. We will continue to provide more information. We are dedicated to have a lot of information on our website and be able to update the community as we work through this process. And we also look forward to answering your questions as you have them, and are committed to doing that. Thank you.